Should be. It's getting there.
Go on his page. Did you tag me in the
In the live,
yeah.
yes, yes, I
Okay.
tagged.
Okay.
I only tagged a few other people because I was trying to hurry up because of time.
No, that's
Uh,
fine.
I'm double checking. I'm trying to. I think we should be live right now, but I'm just double checking. So it's probably folk that can see us right now. If y'all are watching, I'm trying to check it out on my phone to make sure we are actually on live on Facebook. Okay, it looks like it's popping up on my end. Okay, so we're live. And how's everybody doing this evening? Family, we got a special treat for y'all this evening. Welcome back, first of all, to When the Pastor Has Questions. Many of y'all know that I was doing this show on Thursday nights at 9, but I had a shift in my schedule, and I'm kind of happy about the shift because I'm doing some really good things on my end. I hope your end is blessed. But tonight, it's not so much about religion so much. Tonight, it's about the dollar. We're trying to figure out how to win, and I think the guest that I have tonight has figured out some things. I'm calling her. I think she don't mind me calling her this. I'm calling her the multiple streams queen, the multiple streams of income, because she has a few different ways that she comes at this angle of building wealth and also generational wealth. And we're basically going to do an interview tonight, but I hope that you have a shift in your mindset. None of this is going to work for you if you don't change your mind about money, how you see it, what it really is. And I think we have to get a right perspective on what it is so that we can move forward with the knowledge that's going to be shared here this evening. So, we're going to start off with the intro. Without further ado, let me introduce to y'all Shay Marie Harris, the multiple streams of income queen. And Shay, I'm just glad to have you. How you doing this evening?
I'm good. How are you? I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you. We were talking earlier trying to get this live together, and there's just so much. There's no way we're going to be able to share everything within the hour. So I want to let those who are watching know that Shay has a Facebook group, and she has so many ways that she can help you no matter what level you're on, because don't get this twisted. There are many levels out there. Me and her are going to go over that, because one of the things with all the changes that went on in my life in the last 2 years, and I was looking for things to try to build myself back financially, and it was like everything that I looked at, either I needed $1,000 to get started or 2,000, and I was like, I need the system where I can start very low or almost with nothing, and build myself up. And we there are ways. There are ways. I'm here to tell y'all. I'm just like many of you all. I have a different mindset, but I hope that we'll get there. So, Shay, how did you get started? First of all, the people that don't know you don't know who you are. Oh yeah, and by the way, before I go there, let me say this. I just thought about you. You're in Detroit, right? How y'all doing with the snow up there?
Oh, it's been coming down. It's been coming down like a mug, like for the past couple of days. But it's nothing that I've been here all my life, so it's nothing that I'm not used to or anything.
I saw a post before we went live. I have friends in Texas, and I think a lot of people are without power, y'all, tonight. So whatever
Yeah,
we can do to not only send them positive energy, but if there's actually something physically, anybody watching and myself that we can do, let's reach out to them and get it done. Because in one vein of thinking, we gotta look out for ourselves. We can't always depend on the government to do everything. Uh,
absolutely.
yeah, we need to step it up and take care of each other. So My heart is out with my folk in Texas. I'm trying to figure out what we can do. And y'all do the best because they can't stay warm. They got no power, and people are freezing to death. This is un-
Yeah,
this is unfortunate.
yeah,
So
it is very unfortunate. My husband and I were just recently just talking about that a few, like about an hour or two ago. It's kind of fishy what they're going through, but we're not gonna get into conspiracy theories or anything. But we do send them light and love, and everybody, if anyone can reach out to, I don't really personally know anyone in Texas or, but if you guys can have loved ones in Texas and you can reach out to them and see about helping them. We do definitely need to make sure we start taking care of each other and looking out for one another. So most definitely.
that's right. That's right. Um, so having said that and acknowledge the family down there, just tell us a little bit about who you are, saying where you come from, and we'll go on.
Okay, well, I was born and raised in Detroit, and my background, just really thinking about my background history. I last year in high school finished high school with a bookkeeping, or how do you call it, like a bookkeeping course, and learning about how to start bookkeeping money and stuff. And once I graduated high school, my first job out of high school was actually an office manager, where I actually had to manage money for a real estate company. And I've been into different things about, different industries of with money that had to do with financing, taxes, and um, I've learned how and taught myself how to do bankruptcies, and I worked in the mortgage industry before. And so, I'm very, very diverse in finances. And so, just recently, maybe over the past 5 or 6 years, as I began to start learning how to work from home, I started to um, get more knowledgeable about finances and how to um, con- grow your money and be more business minded, should I say. I started out with a company called My Econ, and My Econ is a company that basically teaches you financial literacy, and many of us don't know about money. And My Econ kind of teaches you how to eliminate and reduce your taxes, even if you're working a job, by just having a business. Many people don't know that if you just had a side business that you actually have, that you can actually eliminate a lot of taxes by learning and teaching yourself how to live your life as a business, even if you have a job. So My Econ taught me that, and how to reduce your taxes, how to begin to record your lifestyle in such a manner. Many people didn't understand when Donald Trump came out a few years ago and said, that he doesn't pay any taxes. People thought that it was like illegal that he wasn't paying taxes, with him being the billionaire that he is. But he, like he said, he's smart. He learned how to actually live his life like a business and operate as such, where, you know, the government, the IRS, will give you incentives. There's so many incentives that you can get just by having a home-based business. And so I learned that through My Econ, and over the years I've come to learn about investments and learn about. I really got heavy into cryptocurrency back in like 2017. And so once I learned about cryptocurrency, I actually learned about cryptocurrency before I really got into the precious metals side of things, and learning about what real money was, which was silver and gold, and how silver and gold was, removed as a backing for our dollars. Coming up, I never knew that silver and gold was our money, and many of us probably never knew that silver and gold was our actual money, and how we were actually able to exchange currency, and the backing from our dollars was removed, back in the early 1900s. And so, I began to learn the history of what money is, and just educate myself, and began to start trying to educate others, and just building off of that. And that's how I'm pretty much here where I am today.
All right. And I know you've been talking. That's good information to know for, well, before we get into the thick of it. I've been trying to work out the screens and stuff, make sure that they can see you and going back and forth while you were doing that talking. Because I perfected the I know how to share the screen. I wouldn't say perfected it, but
Mhm.
I just wanted to make sure they could see you and not just hear you talking. So hopefully
Okay.
that's working well. Now, you said something that was powerful a moment ago. You said what real money is. And I don't know if everybody truly would understand what you mean by that. I get it, I get it from talking earlier, but give us a brief, explanation. What do you mean real money? I thought of when I had my dollar, my $5 bill, or my 10, 20, $100 bill. I thought that's real money, right? What's real money?
No, that's not real money. Your your $5 or your $1, $10 bill, that's just, it's called fiat currency, and it's just basically that. It's a promissory note. It's fiat money. It's currency. It's a means of exchange. So the our dollars, like I said before, were backed by gold. Before the dollar, before we even were introduced to paper money, the real money was silver and gold. And they tried, basically, it was a scheme pretty much to put us all in basically perpetual slavery, and steal all of the wealth from the country, and from us, by uh, creating the Federal Reserve. So many people think that the Federal Reserve is a government establishment, but the Federal Reserve is not a government establishment. It's actually a private entity. It's a private bank. And the United States basically signed a contract back in the early 1900s, like 1913, to remove our gold. And so they introduced the paper currency to our country, because our country was kind of in a little bit of trouble, supposedly. I don't. I want to go into a lot of history, but our United States is actually a corporation. Many people don't know that. It's not really a country; it's a corporation. So a lot of things were constructed in order to put us, like I said, into a perpetual commercial slavery. And so the dollar was formulated. Um, in the beginning, it was backed by actual gold. There were the dollars. They were actually called silver certificates, and you could actually take the silver certificates into the central bank and exchange that silver certificate for actual gold, actual silver, or actual gold. And so a dollar silver certificate was worth back then an ounce of gold. And so, I mean, not an ounce of gold, but an ounce of silver. And
Mhm.
so, um, that's how we exchanged money back then. And over the time, they began to inflate the dollar, um, and start they started doing a whole lot of things to it to inflate or deflate the dollar, and it caused it to actually lose all of its purchasing power. So right now the dollar has lost about 98% of its purchasing power. And so many people may not understand why it is costing you more to live now than it did maybe, let's say, 10 or 20 years ago. And that's because of inflation, and because the dollar has been devalued, because they're constantly printing up money. It's just digits on the screen and just printing of paper. It's not really anything that has any intrinsic value, any real solid backing to it. So no, that is not our dollar, and it's owned by the Federal Reserve, and it was put in place of the actual money, which is gold and silver.
Right. And you know, for those that'll probably come across this later, what you just said is the reason, you know, any of us that have been alive for a period of time and paid attention to something like gas prices and how much stuff was when you were, you know, in kindergarten, and now here we are 30, 40, 50 years old, and we see that stuff doesn't cost what it used to cost. I was watching Head of State, that movie with Chris Rock the other day, and in the
Hmm.
background there was some. This is like 2004 that movie came out, and in the background there was some gas prices, and it was like $1.30, $1.40. It was like, man, you wish, right? You wish it was that.
Right.
I remember when it was even less than that. When I used to be a little boy and grandma say, "Get out and pump that gas, boy." I remember when gas was like 89 cents a gallon,
Less
and
than a dollar.
you can go back even further than that. But what she just said, everybody, is the reason why, or just evidence to how that dollar is using value. But on the flip side, what an ounce of gold would buy 50 years ago, an ounce of gold will still buy today.
Absolutely.
Even with that inflation rate because of the value. So I think that's significant to note because we're going into the mindset portion. And I think, Shay, that it's important for people to shift their mindset. I'm looking at notes, but you know what? I want to just kind of talk to you because earlier we connected on that we
Mhm.
have a problem as a people of consumers, and just, you know, we want what we want when we want it, and we really probably can't afford it. And I know for me, I'm a very impatient person, right? So I'm learning that, trying to be disciplined, very impatient. But the other thing I thought was powerful for me to learn was delayed gratification, you know. And so I want to ask your take on mindset, or like some first steps the mind needs to take so that you don't just get a whole bunch of money and then you lose it, because we see it all the time. People win the lottery and then what, we hear from them 10 years later and they broke, and we're like, how did that happen?
Well, it all stems from just the history of basically us being programmed to be this way. You know, you know, education, our educational system was basically created to make us into consumers, make us into, workers and not thinkers, or, thinkers, or free thinkers or whatever. So our mindsets are pretty much not mindsets of our own. There are mindsets that were programmed into us, and unless you take control of the things that you know you're feeding your mind, then you pretty much in that same mindset of the regular matrix that we've all, most of us have all come up in. um, but yes, they want us to be consumers. So we were brainwashed into these things. That's why you see a lot of commercials being repeated over and over again, because it's a psychological thing that they have really done to us. And
Uh,
so yes, the mindset and taking control of that and starting to control what you feed your mind, and turning off the television and stop listening to certain things is really one of the first steps to changing your mindset, and starting to educate yourself, and you know going and finding alternative information versus what is the normal of what we've always been taught and taught to think and believe about money and about life, period.
Right. The when you said earlier about the debt, let me see if I can, because we're going into the mindset and we want to give the people some resources. So let me see if I can properly share my screen so that we can get into the debt calculator along with some of the other things we have on the menu for us tonight. Let me find that in Safari. All right, so I think I'm going to be here, and then you can say a little bit once I get it shared. Say a little bit about what we're looking at. Are you able to see that on the screen there?
Yeah, I can see it. So this is the U.S. debt clock, and the audience, if you can always look it up at your own leisure, but you can find it at usdebtclock.org. Um, but this is basically the U.S. national debt. And I don't know if a lot of people understand that, our U.S. dollar is basically the world's currency that is being traded or was being traded all over the world. And, countries now don't even really want to do any trading with us because, of pretty much the scam that has taken place with the Federal Reserve and the central banks and them just printing money up out of thin air. So as you can see, the clock is steady ticking and the US debt is almost reaching $28 trillion in debt. And so the more they continue to print up, create stimulus packages, all of these things are adding to the debt. And so if you look where it says the debt per citizen and the debt per taxpayer, many people don't know that we are the ones responsible for paying back this debt through our labor. I don't, and then through our, paying taxes. And so I don't think a lot of people understand that, the more that they continue to print up this money and create more debt, we are the ones actually responsible for paying this back. So, I really am, really trying to push, opting out of this system of debt that they've created, and us, getting back into what real money is. And there are systems and things and different currencies that are being created, such as cryptocurrency. But definitely, I don't want to go too far with that, but gold and silver is really what the money is.
Let's
And so
see
if you
some of
slide over to the right, if you can zoom in a little bit.
let me see if it changes on my. I know on my screen it'll zoom in.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
That.
I see it. So um, right now the silver to dollar ratio, as you can see right there, is $4,800 per ounce. So silver and gold right now on the markets are highly manipulated. All of these things are manipulated because they want to continue this debt-based system that they've created over the centuries and decades, whatever. Um, they want that to continue, so they're constantly manipulating the markets. And so right now, you can get an ounce of silver for about $30 to $35, and so eventually the system is going to burst. We're going through a global reset right now where they're basically trying to crash the markets, crash the system. The entire system is going to be crashing very, very soon, and eventually we will be going back into um, a actual gold backed and silver backed currencies. So that's what, once everything is reset, these are what as you can see here, the dollar to gold ratio is 34,000. So all of these are, those are the actual values of what gold will potentially be in the future. You can get gold right now for about 18 to $1,900 an ounce. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, right now we're in the greatest wealth transfer in history. And so as you begin to accumulate these assets, you're positioning yourself for a great opportunity to really um, create financial freedom for yourself by investing in these assets and taking advantage and opting out of that dollar, because that dollar is not our dollar. If we can be some sort of assistance to helping the system crash and getting that dollar out of there, because it's no good to us. They're going to continue to print more money, and inflation is going to be continuing to rise. The cost of food, they're already talking about droughts of food, and food is they're going to be trying to charge outrageous prices just for you to be able to survive, because of inflation. And so we need to start really changing our mindset and hedging against those things. These are what we call a hedge against inflation,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and protecting our wealth, protecting our hard-earned money that we have earned by converting it into real money.
Something I want to say, my mother, I shared this on a live I did earlier, and my mom told me something. I was probably in third grade. I remember I was into the back in the day when the rappers wore the big old rope chains, like LL Cool J had this huge rope chain, and I was into the gold. And I remember mom bought me some some silver jewelry. She brought like a silver bracelet and a silver necklace, and I really wasn't feeling it because it wasn't gold. And but then later she told me, she was like, if you have anything of value, diamond, silver, gold, she said, when you have this stuff, and I'm like in third grade, I'm like blah 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 blah. I didn't really hear none of this, but I remembered it, and she said that this stuff is worth and has actual value. Now I'm talking like 30 years ago. My mom said this to me,
Wow.
and and it didn't even hit my mind for a long time until about 10, maybe going on maybe 12 years ago. I was in
Hmm.
Daytona Beach, Florida, and I started noticing, you see them start saying, "Oh, we give you cash for gold." You seen those signs? And
Hmm.
I was like, you know what? Why are they doing that? Why is there such a push to get the goal? And it came back to me what my mom said. I was like, no, this ain't right. They want your goal. They want that because that's real value. And they're gonna give you fiat currency, which is
Right.
go away after a while. So I'm just saying to all y'all out there, if you still got your old school 80s big gold chain, if you got a chain, if it's real, hold on to the chain. Keep it.
Most definitely.
Don't give it to them for some fiat currency, which is nothing. Is that chain will hold value, that gold will hold value. So what I
And
want,
your silver.
yeah, and
I
the
said,
silver. This
and silver.
are real materials that have value. So going in from mindset before we get into the crypto and then the end game that Shay and I are going to talk about tonight is the conversion, because we got to get to the gold and the silver on a deeper level, and then we're going to talk about the royal estate. Yes, real estate, we're going to talk about that. But let me see if I can share my screen with some information that Shay shared with me earlier, um, concerning some books. Now, I'll be the first to tell people that, um, just because you read it in a book doesn't make it the case. However, you should be reading. You should be looking for information. And like you said, as a thinker, okay, you will be able to put two and two together and come up with what is the best path for you. So here's a book that you recommended that we go and look at, Shay. The
Mhm.
Money Scam. So if you are able, I know you read some of the stuff a while back. Um,
Mhm.
you want to tell us like a little gist of what this book will cover for us?
Well, the money scam really goes into the history of how the scam started, and it really all started back in like late 1700s. Honestly, when they created um, the Constitution. So it goes all the way back to over almost 300 years ago, and so the money scam has a lot of what did it for me was some of it had a lot of scriptures and Bible scriptures and things like that inside this book that made me go like, wow, I know you as a pastor or ex-pastor,
Right.
and how you feel about it and about the Bible, but just learning about some of those scriptures and about how it was talking about just weights and measures and
Mm,
things of that nature, and God only dealing or honoring just weights and measures. It kind of helped me to understand more what the Bible really was about, as far as it, because you and I know the Bible is pretty much written in codes or whatever,
mhm.
versus how it was always interpreted to us coming up, in our religions and things of that nature. So it really gave a whole different aspect or outlook on a whole lot of different things. So the money scam is a real good book. A lot of the older people back then that were, in positions that were actually against the Federal Reserve and the creation of the dollar and things like that. So it really gives you a lot of history and understanding of how these things came about. And so I highly recommend reading it.
Shay, you, I didn't, I'm not making it about religion, but you said something, and this is when I was like, I gotta have her on the show. I really gotta have her because I think you posted it was some lady, and she was talking about what was it? I think it was about crypto and what was going on with the money, and you made a reference, you made a comment about Kurt Franklin's song, rather have Jesus.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up a few minutes ago, but yeah, it's just like it's crazy. It makes me kind of angry because it's like we were basically, like I'm saying, we were really brainwashed out of our wealth, y'all, because all of those things played a key part in, I that song came out when I was like maybe 14 or 15. I had to sing that song, lead it in church or whatever. So just thinking back, it's like they really, really were trying to, you know, like trick us out of the true wealth.
But it's like
And
people don't.
so that's why most of us now, when I talk to a family member or someone, and they'll say, well, I'm not putting my money into any coins or any gold, it's like, they don't really understand it. They don't get it, that's the real money.
Right, right. It's like they don't understand, even subconsciously. Not really trying to down anybody, but subconsciously, when you say something like that, imagine how you will easily discount like what we're saying here tonight. You won't even go research it because you're gonna think that all you need, and again, I'm not trying to insult, but they have conditioned the mind to where you think everything you need while you are here in this physical body is a character from a book. That's all you need. If you
Right.
got that, you're good. And that could not be further from the truth. I just had to put that plug in there because the way you said it when you were watching, it cracked. I'm sorry. It
Yeah,
really cracked.
and if you think about it, even with the just weights and measures, scriptures, when you start reading the book, and you start seeing these scriptures and different, there's a whole lot of different scriptures that talk about just weights and measures and gold or whatever. It's just like, why weren't we taught these things in church? Like, it's just like, church and religion was really a brainwash. Like, the pastor really just gave you their own perceptions of certain things, but they really didn't, like, a lot of, like, I really didn't never see those scriptures. If I did, it never really crossed my mind that they were actually talking about gold and silver, as being just weights and measures and dealing in money or the financial side. It never really dawned on me until I actually read that book. And so it just made me even, think about, wow, just how, bad of a psychological job the religion and all of that has done to us.
Right. Now the going forward, you mentioned something about ex-President Trump or former President Trump and the taxes. Because I remember when I first heard that too. That about him not paying taxes and all that, and many people when they heard that, and I'm gonna click on this. When they heard that, like I did, I was kind of upset. I'm like, here I am having student loans and stuff like that. I'm like, I haven't seen a tax return in years. I can't tell you the last time I actually got some money back from the
Wow.
IRS. So hearing a billionaire say that I was like shocked, but at the same time, I have to realize that not paying taxes may be illegal, but avoiding them is completely fine. And if you got enough knowledge and enough skill or enough people on your team where you can avoid them, then why not? Why wouldn't you? I mean, I think everybody here, if even if they work a regular job, they see their gross pay, okay. But if they
Right.
could avoid that 100, 150, $300 or whatever's coming out of their check, I'm sure if they could legally get that back, that they would. So tell us a little bit about this next piece of information you recommended.
So, 475 tax deductions just basically gives you a real great breakdown about how to, as I explained earlier, live your life like a business. Having a home based business, even if you work a job, the IRS really just wants you to have the intent to make money with your home based business. So, as long as you have the intent to make money, there are over 475 hundred tax deductions that you could possibly qualify for on a yearly basis, and possibly end up paying no taxes and actually maybe getting more back in taxes than you ever gotten before. So it really just all boils down to a little discipline and record keeping and planning your life ahead. Keeping track of your mileage and keeping track of receipts, planning your outings, such as maybe you want to go and take a vacation, but if you plan it as a business trip, it can possibly become a tax write-off now. Perhaps you are just going to go to another state and meet someone for a business. So this book breaks that down. It breaks down the deductions of like mileage, how you can track your mileage and pay less taxes, and just all types of things that you can deduct through your life. You can actually, many don't know, you can pay your children. Um, if you pay your child a salary of up to $12,000 a year, and they have to be between the ages of 7 to 21, I believe it is.
Wow.
You can pay your child a salary up to $12,000 a year, and that can become a tax write-off. So there's just ways that you have to learn about how to do that, but it definitely can be done, and it's not hard. So
That's news to me. I did not know there was stuff out there. But see, again, this is the mindset change. You first have to become aware this stuff is out there. Change your mind. I mean, how many people could easily afford, what is this book? This book paperback is $20, Kindle under 14 bucks. How many parents are about to go this coming school year, even though they may be on in school online, and buy a pair of shoes, they would purchase this book many times over. Okay, so we gotta change it. So before we go off time, I want to get into some of those multiple streams of income plans. And you and I talked earlier. There is one that we rather talk with people one on one about. So that one is phenomenal. That one allows for people to get compound interest on their money daily. And I don't, maybe we'll play the video after. If you don't understand compound interest, people, you- huh, it's good. That's all I'm gonna say. Compound interest and a little bit of patience over time, you're gonna turn around one day. You will literally just wake up and say, I didn't know I had that much money. You gonna be, if you let it roll. Okay, but to get started, any one of those systems we talked about earlier that you want to say a little bit about now in these few minutes to help us get to the end game of owning physical gold, physical silver, and then we graduate to real estate and what have you. So what would you say?
So yeah, definitely. There are ways of getting gold and silver in small increments. Um, many people never knew that you can get gold or start investing in precious metals at such small amounts. So, it is definitely possible, and there are ways for you to get started. Like I said, investing in silver and gold in very small increments. So work with two different platforms that I accumulate my gold and silver. So I did take out some of my pieces that I did want to show. If
Let
that's
me make
okay with you.
them bigger so they can see what you're doing here. Let me see. Okay. All right. I think you're the center screen now.
Okay, so these are what we call numismatic coins, and these are on a higher grade level of coin collecting. So we have these available where you can start collecting, like I said, numismatic coins. And there's a yearly membership, kind of sort of like Costco's or Sam's Club, that you can get and start collecting these. It's a great membership. And then we also have, so these are more so on the more expensive side. So like he was saying, there's levels to this thing. So if not able to start on that level, because it is going to cost you a little bit more to get started, then you definitely want to start collecting you some bullion rounds. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah, bring it a little bit to your left and a little closer because the background is kind
All
of
right, let me
yeah, green
let me
screen.
take. And can you see that?
Yeah, that's better. That's
Okay, so this is like these are just regular bullion rounds that you can start collecting at about, like I said, $30 to $35 per ounce. And these are, pieces of art as well because, they have different arts on them. Let's see, like I got 007 coins. People will pay you nice, you can trade these online, whatever, but people will pay you, for these types of coins as well. But these are more so things that you want to start purchasing and using as bartering tools if you ever had to.
let
And
me
then,
let me say this because just so for those that may not be where you and I are with the mindset, or when they get there, or go back and watch this video later, because I leave all my videos up. You can check them.
Mhm.
So what they have to understand is that, let's just say, okay, let's just say, hopefully not, but let's just say it really hit the fan here or all over the world, and even crypto. Let's just say there's no electricity, you can't move your crypto here, and then you can't really use it. At the end of the day, those metals are valuable. They
Anywhere around the world.
yeah, anywhere. And I mean, everybody understands you don't need a conversion for gold. Okay, if you
No,
got gold right now and you are in China somewhere or in Russia somewhere, guess what? You don't need to go through nobody to convert. They understand that's gold, that's silver, that's worth something. So
absolutely.
what I want people to understand is that this secures a lot now, because some of us, especially most of the people that will see my lives and in our culture, they're gonna be looking at what you're holding up now and say, "Oh, she talking about coin collecting? We don't collect coins. We collect Jordans, and we collect this." But it's not just art. Now, don't get y'all need to understand that what she is holding is valuable. That's real. That's real money right there in that trade. That's real stuff. The thing about it is we just don't know, and it's foreign to our culture, and that's why I wanted us to talk about mindset. We have to begin to shift, because the obvious thing is that one class, if you want to call it a class, or one sector of people have been able to acquire these things rather easily, and they continue to uh, pass these things down through generations, and they have wealth. You know,
Absolutely.
that is something she's holding in her hand. She can actually pass on to her children, and they will have that as a valuable thing. Now, you told me earlier about
Mhm.
the numismatic coins, and what if you were to buy one? I think you said 30 years ago for a month, and you were giving.
Yeah, so we
Tell us.
have something called the $1.2 million mistake. So pretty much basically is if you had to purchase one of these every month for like 20 to 30 years, just to say you started in 1989, and then for 30 years, if you had a collected one every month, it would have cost you over the time, and this is what we call like dollar cost averaging. It would have cost you over the time, on average from $40,000 to $50,000, but you would actually have about 1.5 to $1.6 million of actual wealth in your possession.
Hold on, like they really need to understand what you just said, because all right, let's just say it over a period of 30 years, let's just cost you over that period $50,000, and I don't
Yeah.
think you understand what we have spent money on, and spent way more than $50,000 in 30 years on clothes, on shoes, on food that we didn't need. I'm talking about food we didn't need. Like, you have spent, you know what? I'm gonna share this. This is embarrassing, but I'm gonna share it because it helped me see. I like Starbucks. I love Starbucks. A few years ago, I was at the barbershop, and way before COVID and all that. And one of
Mhm.
the barbers in there was like, "Man, Pastor, you love Starbucks, don't you?" I was like, "Yeah, man, yeah, man." And then I think a few weeks later, I came in. He's like, "Pastor, you ain't got your Starbucks with you?" And I just shook my head. I said, "You know what, man? I looked at my bank account, and I wanted to see. It just dawned on me, how much have I spent at Starbucks this past month? And when I
Mhm.
tell you I had spent $120, I
Wow.
was shocked. I didn't
Yeah,
even
it adds up.
I didn't even realize I had spent $120 in 30 days at Starbucks. I was like,
Wow.
you know what? No, I can't do it. So we do this, and we have to just change our mindset here and there, and the wealth will come. Now, if it's I think you said $1.2 million you would have had. Is it one?
Yep.
Now,
between 1.2, $1.5 million. Yeah.
if even if you spend 50,000 over the period of 30 years, look how many times 50,000 goes into a million. That's
Right.
20 of those, 20 something of those. That's that's a lot of increase on your money. And I
Absolutely.
want us to think.
Absolutely. This is what the wealthy do. This is what, like you said, this is what they do. They collect artwork and coins like this, things that are have intrinsic value and that grow in value over time. So, definitely this is how we need to start being and changing our mindset and start accumulating and building generational wealth. Because I know my grandmother or my grandparents didn't leave me anything, and I know my parents probably not gonna leave me anything. And so, in our community, on one of our teams, we have a saying that's called if you didn't come from a wealthy family, now is the time for a wealthy family to come from you, because there's no way that we should be broke right now. I keep saying that this is the greatest wealth transfer in history. We just need to, buckle down and come together. There's systems of leverage that we can utilize, and for us all to become wealthy right now. We just gotta just come together and get educated about it. So there are things out there available for you to do that.
And I want to say to those that will watch it, if y'all will notice in the description for this post, there's a Facebook group, Freedom Riders Investment, and she has the Freedom Riders shirt on. I want you to join Shay Marie's group because there is so much more information that she has. I'm a member of the group. I'm getting in, and I'm telling y'all, we got to start networking with like-minded folk. If this ain't for you, it ain't for you. But if you understand what we have told you or even interested, you need to look into this and level, and we can level up. She's told you about a few levels of certain things, and there's more that we would rather share with you on a personal level. Um, but I want to move, we've already touched on the real value there, but let me say something I heard about a day or so ago concerning cryptocurrency, or what most people only know about Bitcoin now. That's all they really know about because they're hearing about it. But I want to say something about it because I don't feel it's too late to get into that game and use it to get things of value like you're holding in your hand and to use it to get real estate. And what I'm talking about is this. There was a report, her name, I think her name is Catherine Wood. She works for ARK Investments. And
Hmm.
Catherine made a calculation. She was saying if 1%, if no, if yeah, if the S&P 500 companies invested 1% of their cash on hand in Bitcoin, that it would send it from where it is currently, which is sitting right at about 48,000 per unit, that it would send it to 400,000 per unit. Now that would be awesome, right? And people are saying, well, what about the S&P 500 companies? Are they doing that? Have all of them done it? No. However, Elon Musk has already stepped out there. And
Hmm.
this is what I'm saying to people. He stepped out there and he put 1.5 billion of Tesla's money into it. Now, with them being such a giant, I don't know, but I think there are going to be more companies going to follow suit. And he
Absolutely.
is trying to make it to where you can actually buy a Tesla with
With
Bitcoin. I keep telling people, like, listen, the day Amazon says we are now accepting Bitcoin as a payment, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
right.
You better already be in the game because it's going to be worth so much. So I'm saying all of that to tell them about taking those things, using these things to go out there and get your real estate. Use the increase you get from the crypto to go and get your numismatic coins and
Right.
increase the value. So that's kind of like my strategy. Plus, I mix my strategy in with the stock market a little bit. I'm not a real big investor. I'm learning, but I'm in the game. You know what I'm saying? I'm on my. I got my Weeble. Matter of fact, I provided links in my description and all that. The reason I say this is because um my mother, my dad's brother, he used to say a real simple phrase: you got to be in it to win it. If you ain't in it, you're definitely not gonna win it because you're not in the game. So
Right.
that's my little spill, but I wanted to see get your thoughts on that, taking these things and using the increase we're having, this transfer of wealth we're having, and don't just leave all your money there, but go take that and go acquire something real. So even if that falls apart, you still rich. You still rich.
Yeah. So you and I, we talked about that earlier. Just, um, there's all type of ways this thing can happen. You definitely want to take advantage of the opportunity now while it's definitely available. We probably, got a good maybe 5 to 10 year run with it possibly. Of if that, I don't know. Based on, my research and some of the things that I've been plugging into. But, I'm all about using the systems of leverage. We can get paid in Bitcoin, get paid in different cryptocurrencies instead of converting or spending all of our dollars in it. Why not get paid in it and use that and convert it into silver and gold? But you definitely want to get in the game and get in where you fit in right now, because like I keep saying, this is the greatest wealth transfer, and you definitely want to be a part of it. There's no reason, like I keep saying, there's no reason why we should be struggling when there's so much wealth right now. And I will prefer that we all come together in unity and get in the game, and let's redirect and redistribute this wealth that is being transferred back to us instead of giving it to another small hand of people, and having some more control and power over the over the economy pretty much.
Right, right. I'm trying to bring up for the last screen. I don't want to miss the compound interest, so I'm bringing up that screen you sent me that's on your page so that you can explain to them, and I'll give my 2 cent on compound. So family, earlier while we were ready to close, we mentioned compound interest, and I'm telling you, if you want to benefit from compound interest, uh, there's a way. There's a way to scale up and get to some of these levels, and you need to contact Shay or you need to get in her group so that you can learn about these multiple streams. But this one, or you can contact me and I can let you know what we're doing to build a compound interest. But Shay, if you can see the screen, can you explain what we're looking at?
Yeah, so this is one of the systems that we're utilizing for compound interest. So this is basically a 20-day plan of you putting your money in on a 20-day contract of, let's just say you take $100, you're gonna be earning a daily interest. So most people don't know that, or most people put their money in a bank and you're probably not even going to get 1% a year. So let alone, most people don't know about being able to earn 1.4% a day. But with this platform, you can earn daily interest of 1.4%. So if you were to take $100 and put it into the system for 20 working days, you would actually been able to multiply your money and turn that $100 into $128. So you would have earned $28 in interest. And what we mean by compounding is that you will now take that $100 plus 2,800 and now do the same thing all over again. And so over a course of about 45 days, if you were to do this I think this is the 45 day. Well, no, it's 220 days, 220 working days. So over the course of 220 working days, if you were to, continue every 20 days taking the money that you've earned from your initial investment plus the interest and putting it back and having a little discipline, you would have been able to have multiplied that money, that $100, and turned it into a $1,400 profit over the course of 220 days. So you can just see how every day or every 20 days, you're, basically turning your money into more money, pretty much.
That's and this is put at the end of the video for those that get the cherry on top. Everybody ain't gonna watch the whole video, and they might check out early. But if you hold on, this right here is the culmination of this video, y'all, for a reason. If you still watching this video, that means your mindset has already changed, and that means you need to be getting in touch with Sister Shay or myself about this system right here, because this is where we rocking it. I know the example here is for $100 minimum. You can go lower, you can go higher, but imagine. See, the thing about it is, what if you want to go high? You can. You could have went 200. You could have went 300. You could have went five, and you would get that 1.4% interest every day. Why working days? That's because that's when the markets are open. You notice Wall Street didn't open till Tuesday this week because they're off on President's Day. So that's why when she says working days, we're talking about Monday through Friday. You don't get it on the weekends. You get it on the working days when trading is going on in the market. And the other
Right,
thing, if you invest using your Bitcoin, that's going up in value already. So each
right.
day you get the interest. Let's say that Bitcoin went up that day, you're gonna get the interest on that new value of it. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. So this right here, what Cat Williams say? This right here, it right here. I'm so excited about this. Like I don't even know what to do with myself. But hey, Sister Shay, I appreciate you. And let's we gonna have to do this again. We're gonna have to do an update because I the way I see crypto going, I'm gonna just say Bitcoin. The way I see it going, for me,
Hmm.
the writing is on the wall. Like it's gonna be so ridiculous in this coming year, in the coming years, as more and more companies start to accept it as form of payment. If they not
Absolutely.
on it, you are going to miss the bus. You must get on the bus right now. And you can get on the bus with as little as 20 bucks. But oh yeah, that's my first rule. My first rule of investing, Shay, my barber, my money mentor, he taught me this. You do not invest what you can't stand to lose.
Absolutely.
You do not invest. And I know right now they lying if they say they don't know what I'm talking about. I know right now somebody gonna blow $20 this week on nothing. They gonna blow
Nothing.
$50 and $100 in the next coming month and ain't gonna have nothing to show for it. When you could take that $100 and in what in 20 days you'll have 128 to show for it. I'm telling y'all, make the sacrifice if you want to call it a sacrifice, and do something different. All right, just do something.
Most definitely.
Yeah, Shay, you got some closing words before we go?
Um, I appreciate you having me on, you guys. Please take this time and, get knowledgeable about these things. I'm very, very, like stickler on, just letting you know, like, this is the greatest wealth transfer. Don't miss it, guys. There's no reason why any of us should be struggling. Any of us should be, waiting around for stimulus checks or any of that, because the wealth is there, and we can come together and work together and create unity and take it out to our people, and show people how to become financially free. There's so much in store for us all. There's so much we could have talked about today, but we'll be here forever. So we definitely got to do this again. I'm looking forward to it, because like I said, we have a lot of things that we could go over and, educate our people on, to get free. So, this is only the beginning, and I'm looking forward to doing more shows with you, and, you know, helping our people out, moving forward for 2021 and making this a great year for us all.
That's what's up, Shay. I appreciate you. I'm gonna call just to close out with you, but I'm gonna close us off Facebook. Family, we love y'all. Peace and love. And y'all know, like I always say, truth is my only religion. Love y'all. Take care.